dark smoke billowed out. Everything seemed to be gradually collapsing. Inside, the flesh-eyed demon octopus was now standing up, staring at Luke as if he were its next prey. He assessed, the common strength of this type of dimensional beast is around level 5 to level 6. The monster then stuck out its long, disgusting tongue. Luke continued, its appearance here is not normal, especially since it has clearly reached level 7 strength. Suddenly, his eyes sharpened and he looked to the side. The flesh-eyed demon octopus lunged with its claws, roaring. The giant claw was about to engulf the tiny Luke. But when its hand struck Luke, it created an explosion. The monster's hand gradually disintegrated. The flesh-eyed demon octopus screamed in pain. Its hand twitched, releasing a stream of green fluid. What a... Luke strode forward powerfully and said, noisy chunk of flesh. He brushed the dust off his body. The flesh-eye, however, went berserk, screaming it. It once again attacked Luke with its mutated hand, but he instantly appeared next to the arm. Luke looked up and said condescendingly, can't you aim a little better? The flesh-eyed demon octopus understood and became enraged, screaming, growl. It shot a stream of disgusting green fluid from its mouth. It shot the fluid downwards, but when it didn't see its prey, it stopped and looked around, searching. Luke suddenly appeared above the monster, swinging his fist down and saying, all right, you can start, trembling now. His face darkened, with fire on one side and ice on the other. Outside, Officer Xiao and the others were still talking. The man who had been there earlier heard this and exclaimed in fright. What did you say? He's just a first-year student? And from the 7th St. Martial University? In Officer Zhao's mind, Luke's student ID appeared. Luke Saint, student ID. 30, 7th St. Martial University. She replied, yes, I saw his student ID and mission certificate. The man said in disbelief, with that speed just now. Let alone a first year, even a graduate student would be hard to believe. That speed. As a peak level 6 myself, I couldn't even see a trace of it. He gritted his teeth in alarm. What on earth is his background? We should report to the Martial Association and the military first. Although that kid is very powerful. What if he angers the dimensional beast and it escapes? A man said, if it gets into the city, it will be a big problem, especially since it can devour people to become stronger. Officer Xiao quickly took out her phone and replied, okay, I'll report it now. Before she could finish her sentence, a powerful pressure emanated from inside the building, knocking everyone back. The man cried out in alarm, what on earth happened in that building? Everyone was focused intently on the building. Inside, the monster was still screaming. Its long tongue hung down, drooling disgustingly. Suddenly, there was a loud crash. The flesh-eyed demon octopus's entire body trembled, and it shrieked in pain. Luke approached and broke one of the monster's fingers. Instantly, its limbs seemed to be corroded by that power, and it convulsed in agony. A disgusting fluid continued to spew from its mouth. Luke saw this and was surprised. Seeing it lying motionless on the ground, he scratched his head in confusion. It's dead already? This thing is too weak. A moment later, the monster's body was casually tossed out of the building by him. The man, in a panic, ordered, the dimensional beast is out. Prepare for engagement. The massive body hit the ground, creating a huge explosion. The man's eyes widened in surprise. The flesh-eyed demon octopus is dead. Officer Xiao was equally horrified. He was in there for less than 5 minutes. Luke appeared like a ghost, startling Officer Xiao. He nonchalantly pointed at the corpse and said, mission complete. Remember to adjust the difficulty. The police officer immediately bowed in gratitude. After the flesh-eyed demon octopus's body is processed, the proceeds will be transferred to your account immediately. Thank you for your assistance. Meanwhile, his bowed face was filled with fear. So scary. The way he so casually dealt with such a powerful dimensional beast. It's unbelievable. But Luke shook his head in refusal. No need. Just divide the proceeds among the families of those who died. A level 7 dimensional beast is enough to ensure that the families who lost their breadwinners can live out the rest of their lives. The police officer was touched by his kindness. Thank you so much. Luke turned to Officer Xiao and asked, "Could you call a car for me? I have to catch the next high-speed train." Officer Xiao happily pointed to a nearby police car and said, "No problem. I'll personally drive you there." Luke smiled handsomely, a halo of light surrounding him. "Thank you. Then I'll trouble you." Officer Xiao blushed at his smile and thought to herself, "Not only is he strong, but he's also—" She then began to imagine Luke grabbing her chin and saying, "Wildcat, tonight I want you. Please be gentle." Officer Xiao was so lost in her fantasy that her face turned beet red. Suddenly, she covered her face and cried out, "No, not there." Luke, standing next to her and witnessing this, was speechless. What's wrong with this woman? He then glanced at the monster's corpse and thought, but it's strange. A level 7 dimensional beast. How did it slip through a gap in the front lines and end up in a small city like Nanping? Although this has happened before, most of them were not that strong. Moreover, if they entered the country's borders, they would be jointly killed by the military and the Martial Association. This time, it almost landed in Nanping City without any prior warning. It's really strange. His eyes showed clear suspicion. Could there be some conspiracy behind this? At this moment, the police car was driving on the road. Officer Xiao was focused on driving, while Luke sat in the back, focused on his phone. Reading the information on his phone, he thought, so, it's human infighting again. That's enough. Traitorous Lion Nation allows dimensional beasts to pass through illegal immigration. New clues in the Dragon-Lion conflict. Why do dimensional beasts attack repeatedly? Is the dimensional beast invasion event a conspiracy theory or the truth? Thinking about the tattered martial arts civilization of humanity 10,000 years later, he realized this is just a bunch of pig-like teammates trying every way to destroy society from within. The Lion Nation, my current strength is enough. I have to crush this group. Luke was so angry that veins popped on his forehead. Officer Xiao noticed his uncomfortable expression and asked, "Mr. Luke, is something wrong?" Luke smiled and shook his head. "It's nothing, just some foolishness. Sooner or later, I'll solve it all." A moment later, arriving at a crowded place, he said, "Thank you, Officer Xiao, for the ride. I can get off here." Luke got out of the car and waved goodbye to her. She said, "I wish you a smooth journey." Then Officer Xiao's eyes became infatuated. She thought to herself, when can I see him again, Luke Saint? Scene changed to buy a number 1 sports center. A girl leaped into the air and kicked her opponent in the chin. The announcement rang out, "Lu Qinghua wins." The girl's opponent lay on the ground, trembling, and raised her hand. "I surrender. I surrender." The two were now surrounded by a circle of people. The coach said, "Student Lu Qinghua's practical combat level is very high, far exceeding everyone else's combat power. If you have any problems, please feel free to ask her for guidance." Lily Saint sat down and wiped her sweat with a towel. Her 2 friends, Feng Fanfan and Chui Nuo, came over and praised her. "Qinghua, you're so strong. If you keep this up, you'll really become the top martial arts prospect." "Qinghua, you're amazing." Seeing her silence, Feng Fanfan came closer with a bright smile and asked, "Aya, you're already so amazing. Why do you still look unhappy?" Lily Saint said with a weary expression, "If you had an older brother who was the top martial arts prospect in the country, you wouldn't be happy either when compared to him." Hearing about her brother, the 2 friends became even more excited, blushing in anticipation. "That's Luke Saint, after all. Right, Qinghua? When will your brother be free? He said he wanted to treat us to a meal before." Yeah, we could treat him too, as long as he comes." Lily Saint felt helpless. "Have you all been bewitched or something?" "I don't know, don't ask me." But the 2 friends persisted. "Oh, come on, help us out just one time." Lily Saint quickly stood up and ran off. "Go somewhere else. I can't stand you 2 lovesick fools anymore." Feng Fanfan and Chui Nuo were both shocked and called after her, "Hey, Qinghua." Lily ran outside. Suddenly, she bumped into someone and said irritably, "Hey, are you blind?" But when she saw the person in front of her, she was surprised and called out, "Brother." Luke was just here to pick her up and asked, so careless, "Are you okay, Qinghua?" Lily Saint was overjoyed and came closer to ask, "Why are you back so soon? It's not the holidays yet. Did you miss me?" Luke replied with a smile, "I finished a mission and came back to visit on the way." She then started circling him, inspecting and searching. "Tell me, did you bring me anything?" Luke then opened his backpack and replied, "Huh? Of course." Lily Saint eagerly exclaimed, What is it? I'm so excited for something from the big city." Surprisingly, Luke took out a few familiar bottles. The best martial arts cultivation supplements to help your skills improve a step further. Seeing them, Lily felt a wave of disappointment. She still took the bottles and said to her brother, "I've discovered you don't understand girls at all." Luke could only scratch his face, confused, looking at her. Suddenly, a basketball came flying towards them at high speed. It hit Luke right in the face. Lily Saint cried out in alarm, "Oh!" Luke's hand had quickly caught the ball. His eyes were sharp, looking straight ahead. Lily Saint asked worriedly, "Are you okay?" "No problem," Luke replied, casually tossing the ball away. At that moment, a boy with fiery hair appeared, his face filled with anger. "Qinghua, are you out of class?" Lily Saint said unhappily, "Why is it you again?" The boy looked at Luke and asked, "Who is this punk?" Lily Saint said, "None of your business." She then pulled Luke's hand to leave. "Ignore him, let's go." Suddenly, he shouted, "Lu Qinghua," making the siblings turn back in confusion. He clenched his fist and said, "It's fine if you don't like me, but you don't have to find an old man like him to humiliate yourself." As he spoke, he pointed at Luke. Lily Saint was horrified. What nonsense is this guy talking about? Luke, after a moment of stunned silence, pointed at himself and asked, "Wait a minute. You called me an old man?" He was successfully triggered by the two words, old man. Lily Saint, enraged, kicked him hard in the groin and shouted, "Aiden Tung, are you tired of living?" So this boy is called Aiden Tung, brothers and sisters. But it was like the sky was falling. Oh my, Aiden was kicked so hard his face was contorted in pain, and sweat was pouring down like rain. "I feel the pain too." Then he clutched that area with both hands and trembled, crying out. Luke, feeling the secondhand pain, asked with concern, Are you okay, brother?" Aiden's face was a mess of tears and snot. He whispered, "So mean, to actually lay a hand on me." He then clutched his precious parts and ran off, not forgetting to threaten, "This old man, you just wait. I'll teach you a lesson." But his voice was still a whisper from the pain. Luke asked his sister, speechless, "Is he pursuing you?" Lily replied, "Yeah, he's always clinging to me. It's so annoying." She then crossed her arms and said, "If he wants me to take him seriously, he at least has to be able to beat me. Do you see any boy like that by a #1 high school?" Luke was swayed and thought, if you put it that way, it seems unlikely. In the future, if you meet someone who suddenly transfers here and is all mysterious and you don't know what he's thinking all day, the most crucial thing is his surname. Lin Xiao, you must stay away from those surnames. He sincerely warned his sister. Lily replied helplessly, "Brother, did you walk into the wrong comic book? This is a high martial arts world." She then poked him playfully and asked with a mischievous smile, "Oh right, brother, how are things going with Senior Diana Yang?" He replied, "What are you talking about? We're just normal friends." Lily continued to tease, "Really? Then why did you hold hands and go to the movies?" Luke, being teased, pinched his sister's cheek and said, "Are you crazy? Think normally." Lily cried out, "Ouch, ouch, ouch." She then said, "Oh right, one more thing. Brother, do you have a classmate named Kevin Liu?" He asked back, "Yes." "What?" Lily replied, "It seems he didn't get into a regular St. Martial University, so he enlisted. He wanted to say goodbye to you before he left, but unfortunately, you had already gone to the capital." "Really? Luke said, putting his hand in his pocket. I didn't know. Taking out his phone to check, he saw a message from Kevin Liu with 99 plus notifications. Luke, are you there? After reading the message, Luke was surprised. Kevin Liu actually went to the Eastern Military District? At the Eastern Military District's new recruit training camp, someone was washing clothes. Suddenly, another person came over and kicked the laundry basin, shouting, Hey, 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 fatty. The soldier had an arrogant look on his face as he threw 2 socks down and said, You're not doing your job right. The basic principle is first come, first served. Today, it's your turn to wash my socks, not old Lou's. This chubby soldier was Kevin Liu. He was very angry when the socks were thrown at him, but he could only endure it. The other guy laughed loudly. Did you hear me? Get to it. Suddenly, Kevin Liu's phone lit up. The message was from Luke Saint. You're at the Eastern Military District, right? I'm coming soon. Wait for me. Along with a sticker of a cat pointing. After reading the message, he was overjoyed and cheered. Saint. Awesome. He then pursed his lips and fell silent. The arrogant guy turned away, whistling, and then said, Oh, right. I quite like the smell of Bright Moon laundry detergent. Remember not to use the wrong one. Kevin Liu couldn't take it anymore. He rushed forward, swinging his fist and shouting, Remember not to use the wrong one? Wash your mother's. The other guy was shocked and looked up. Kevin Liu rained down punches on the guy. Damn you. Who gave you the guts? He shouted as he punched Kevin Liu in the cheek, knocking him to the ground. The other guy took the opportunity to stomp on him and cursed, This fat pig wants to rebel, doesn't he? He then punched him while shouting, Try talking back again. You're a piece of trash who's not even an official martial artist. After venting his anger, he turned away, cursing, Damn it, you made me all sweaty. Listen up from now on. I'm going to beat you once a day. At this point, another soldier was hiding behind, worried. As soon as the guy left, he ran out to help Kevin Liu up. Kevin, are you okay? Why did you fight him? He's been in the army for 2 years. Isn't it just washing a few pairs of socks? Kevin, despite having a swollen face, was still very optimistic. You don't understand. My brother is the top martial arts prospect in the country. In the future, he'll be a general. If I bow my head today, others will use this to make fun of him later. I can't let him lose face. His friend, hearing this, frowned and thought to himself, I'm afraid he's been beaten so badly his brain is damaged. He started talking nonsense. Scene change to the future world. Luke was still sitting there, looking at the information screens. A moment later, he said, Nye, look up personal information. Marshall Dow, 3 years ago, Kevin Liu, class of 325, by number 3 high school, by his city, Ancient Dragon Kingdom. Looking at the information, Luke thought to himself, as expected, it's completely different from what I saw before. Because of me, the trajectory of Kevin Liu's life has also changed. Before, he went to a normal social sciences university and lived an ordinary life, but now Kevin Liu has joined the army. This is not a peaceful era like my previous life, where you can go home after 2 years of military service. The death rate is quite high. Did I harm him? Oh, this kid actually returned safely and even received a second-class merit, honorably discharged. After being discharged, he started a logistics company. At 50, he had over 10 million yuan and had 2 daughters and 1 son. Although the latter half of his life was full of ups and downs with many small failures, it could be considered a harmonious and happy family, with children and grandchildren. He passed away at home at the age of 90. A pretty good future, really good. Perhaps if I try to stay away from him now, it won't affect his future anymore. That would be the best thing I can do for him. As he thought this, he smiled gently. Scene changed to the next day at the branch of the Sacred Spirit Pharmacy. Luke walked into the pharmacy, followed by Heling Su, who was reporting. So far, in Dongning Province, the Benevolence Hall has opened more than 500 branches. Luke looked at the documents and replied silently, I see. What's meant to happen will happen. But if the Chun family in the capital really has enough strength and status, then they should know. His hand clenched the paper, a cold glint in his eyes. Angering you is the same as angering me, and angering me is an extremely foolish act. He then casually tossed the paper aside and reassured Ling Su, "Relax. As long as I'm here, nothing will happen to you." Ling Su was completely taken aback by his presence and thought to herself, "It's only been 2 months since we last met, and Luke Saint is completely different." That absolute confidence exudes a calm and domineering air, like a true big shot. His word is law, and he alone is supreme. Luke extended his hand, using his spiritual power. The spiritual power, acting as his hand, lifted the ingredients on the table and mixed them together into a liquid. His eyes sharpened. This time, let alone the second stage of the immortal golden body, even the sun would have to be extinguished. Scene changed to 2 days later at the Shermau International Hotel in Baiha City. A towering skyscraper, more prominent than the rest, appeared. Luke walked in, handed over his documents, and said to the receptionist, "Hello, could you please find me a good room?" The receptionist replied, "Of course, sir. Please wait a moment." While waiting, he looked around. "I've prepared 120 golden dragon essences. I can now begin to strive for the perfect completion of the second stage of the immortal golden body. To avoid being disturbed by others at home, I came straight to a hotel to rent a room. It's much more convenient." Suddenly, a foot appeared. It was a girl. The girl stood next to Luke and also presented her information to the receptionist. "I'd like to rent the presidential suite." "Okay." Suddenly, he seemed to sense something strange from the girl and looked over in surprise. This was a woman with short blonde hair, wearing stylish sunglasses. Her vitality is like a furnace, her essence like a beacon fire. This is a grandmaster. At that moment, the woman opened her eye, revealing a glowing red pupil. The receptionist asked again, "Are you sure you want to book a presidential suite?" The woman calmly pushed a black card forward and replied cheerfully, "That's right." The receptionist then handed over a room card and said, "Yes, ma'am, here's your room card. We will have an expert escort you up, and we will also help with your luggage." The woman took the room card and said, "No need." Luke, with a serious expression, watched her go and thought, to think they would send a grandmaster to Baiha City. However, this person's vitality intensity is slightly weaker than Tru Kong, Tai, and Nolan Xia, but she is still an official grandmaster. He waited in front of the elevator and began to calculate. If I go all out, I should be able to kill this person easily. If she's not a formidable enemy, I don't need to pay much attention. Luke's unguarded gaze was fixed on the other person. The woman glanced back at him and smiled mysteriously. A while later, the elevator displayed the number 18. The woman inside was looking in the mirror and talking on her headset. "Everything is fine. I've arrived at the target location. But when I checked in, I ran into a kid." The person on the other end of the line asked, "Huh? Who is it?" The woman, applying lipstick, replied nonchalantly, "I don't know, but I feel he's very strong. He might be from the Dark Star, or he might not be. It doesn't matter. After all, I'm here on vacation this time, and just conveniently completing a small mission. If someone wants to ruin my wonderful holiday, I'll just have to eat them alive. Ha ha," she said, letting out a sinister laugh. On Luke's side, he pushed the door open and exclaimed, "The room's not bad. The bathtub is also big enough to hold all the golden dragon essence." He chuckled, looking very satisfied. A moment later, in the bathtub, Luke poured some kind of solution into the water. He then sat silently, soaking in the water. A fierce dragon's head appeared above him. Luke exclaimed, "This feeling is amazing. The next breakthrough should be imminent." At this moment, golden veins were visible on his body, about to spread to his face. His expression was one of pure enjoyment amidst the thick steam. Elsewhere, someone was wiping their long, slender legs and said, "The little mouse with the golden beak seems to have discovered me and even dares to sneak away. You can't escape." It was the short-haired woman from before. On her back was a circle of Roman numerals emitting a powerful energy. "Let's begin my vacation." In Luke's bathroom, He was still focused on his cultivation. At this point, a circle had appeared behind him again. Immortal Golden Body, second stage, extreme. After he was done, Luke stood up and firmly grasped his spear. He then tested it by lightly cutting his arm to see if it was okay. It was perfectly fine. He looked at his unharmed arm with joy. Great. Even a Grandmaster with a weapon would have a hard time breaking through my defense. Not a scratch. He then got dressed again, his whole body radiating a unique aura. The next realm is the vitality realm of a great Grandmaster. The path I'm taking is completely different from the martial artists of this era, and perhaps also completely different from the martial artists in the future dreamscape. This is a path that belongs only to me. The normal way of dividing realms is no longer suitable for me. After this breakthrough, I'm considered to be truly on the threshold of a level 7 Grandmaster. Just a small step further, and I'll be a level 7 Grandmaster. He then tried to restrain himself. No, now is not the time. If I reach level 7 Grandmaster, the commotion will definitely be earth-shattering. Even a great Grandmaster would have to be wary. So not yet. Otherwise, I'll scare away some timid mice. After talking for a while, he shot out of the window and flew off. I'll just go out the way I like best and find a place with no one around to test my strength. At this moment, on the road, two people, one large and one small, were getting into a yellow taxi together. As soon as he got in the car, the adult urged, "Driver, please go to the western suburbs." The driver smiled and replied, "Okay." The car started driving on the deserted night road. The man hugged the child and comforted, "Don't be afraid." After a short distance, the man raised his hand and called to the driver, "Just stop here. I'll pay you triple the fare. If anyone asks if you saw someone with a child, don't say anything." Suddenly, the driver reached up and took off his mask, saying, "Triple probably isn't enough." The man was horrified and asked, "What do you mean?" Taking off the mask revealed the short, blonde-haired woman with red pupils. Her eyes glowed as she turned. "Caught you, little mouse with a golden beak." The man trembled in fear. It's you. The 9th Grand Seal of the Ring of Seals, Bianca Frost." Ah, so this woman is called Bianca Frost, brothers and sisters. Meanwhile, streaks of energy were still appearing in the air. Luke flew along with a satisfied smile. This speed, it's so powerful. My explosive speed at its limit probably can't even be tracked by military surveillance. Landing on a road surrounded by factories, he thought, this was originally a chemical factory. Due to environmental protection issues, everyone was forced to stop working. It's very suitable for me to test my strength. I don't want to cause too much of a commotion in the city. At that moment, a massive explosion occurred nearby, shaking everything. Luke cautiously turned around. Such powerful energy. Is it a Grandmaster? Just then, the man from the taxi appeared, carrying the little girl and running, a long gash on his back. The man ran, screaming, "Help! Help me!" while Bianca Frost, like a madwoman, chased after him with her sword, creating a chaotic mess. The little girl in the man's arms was trembling with fear. Bianca Frost appeared like a demon and hissed, "Run! Let's see how far you can get." Luke, realizing what was happening, said, "Perfect timing." A middle-aged uncle with a child being chased in a desolate place in the middle of the night. He clenched his fist, activating the immortal golden body, and continued, "How can I see injustice and not help?" He now stood in a ready stance. Bianca Frost had also landed right in front of him. She glanced over in surprise. Luke said confidently, "Instantly defeating a Grandmaster is not that strange. But if I don't use anything like a Grandmaster's will, and I don't use inner energy, just relying on the strength of my body, can I kill a level 7 Grandmaster?" At the chemical factory, the moon was high in the sky at night. The residents had been evacuated. The man still held the child tightly, taking the full force of the blow from behind and coughing up blood. Debris from the shockwave flew into the air and then fell back down. The man had also fallen, coughing in pain. The little girl cried out in alarm and worry, "Dad." Bianca Frost now stood above, looking down at the trembling father and daughter. She approached and stomped on the father's knee. She then ground her heel down as if it were a game. The father cried out in pain. The little girl sat up in a rage, tears streaming down her face as she shouted at her, "Stop bullying my dad!" The father was still crying out in agony. "No!" The little girl stood up and repeatedly punched Bianca Frost, shouting, "You bad person!" Bianca Frost then used her claws to grab the girl's head and lift her up, saying, "Your leg is broken, but you still have your hands. Run again. This time, I'll give you 10 minutes." The father replied, trembling, "Let my daughter go first." He then shouted in a threatening tone, "That thing is etched in my mind. No one knows about it but me. Don't even think about getting it from me. I have poison in my mouth and can kill myself at any time." Bianca Frost immediately shoved her hand into the man's mouth. Her finger touched a strange blue tooth. Without a moment's hesitation, she pulled it out. The father screamed in agony once again. She still wore her trademark smile as she showed him the tooth and said, "You think you have a chance to kill yourself?" She then brought the tooth close to the little girl's face and threatened, "Humph, tell me everything obediently, or don't blame me." The father, in agony, lowered his head and gritted his teeth. I'll talk. Please, please let my daughter go." Suddenly, a familiar foot appeared. With just a few basic moves, Luke had snatched the little girl from Bianca Frost's hands. Much to her shock, she quickly turned around and shouted, "I knew there was something strange about you, kid." Luke, holding the child, replied coldly, "You wouldn't even spare a child this young. Do you even deserve to be called a grandmaster?" Bianca Frost asked again, "Are you from the Dark Star?" She sneered inwardly. This kid doesn't have the aura of a grandmaster at all. And at this age, what kind of trouble could he cause? Luke put the little girl down and said, "Go quickly." He then looked up with ice-cold eyes. "Dark Star, Bright Star, what the hell is that?" He quickly appeared behind Bianca Frost and continued, "I am the sun." Fear appeared in her eyes. Luke, now like a ferocious demon, slammed his giant hand down. His hand grabbed Bianca Frost's face. She had no ability to resist. Luke slammed her head into the ground, shattering the earth and sending debris flying. Bianca Frost tried to say something. She was immediately pressed deeper into the ground by Luke. The impact created a blinding explosion that lit up the entire area. After the blow, Luke looked down in surprise. Bianca Frost lay in a contorted heap at the bottom of the crater, her eyes rolled back. "She's dead already? She's too weak." The father and daughter, seeing this, screamed in terror. The father, sweating profusely, said, "I'll talk. I'll tell you the location of where it's hidden right now. Please spare us. It's the exact coordinates of a large gold mine. It's at..." Before he could finish, Luke turned to leave and said, "I don't care about what you're saying." The man was confused. He then hugged his daughter and asked, "Then why did you just kill the Ring of Seal's assassin to save me?" Luke replied, "I was just passing by and saw an injustice, so I helped out. If there are no other problems, I'll be leaving now." He thought to himself, the dreamscape has the location of the gold mine. Why would I need to go to all this trouble? On this side, the father stroked his daughter's head. "Xiao Qiu, that big brother is a bit strange, but he's a good person. We're saved." The little girl also cheered happily. "That big brother, you're so amazing." Suddenly, the father clutched his chest, coughed, and spat up blood. The little girl cried out in worry, "Dad." He then instructed, "Xiao Qiu, I don't know how many of my ribs are broken. I probably can't walk anymore. You run. You must protect yourself." Suddenly, his entire body was lifted up. "Strange. Luke." Luke helped him up, much to his confusion. What?" The little girl cheered happily. "Big brother is back." Luke had a helpless expression. So troublesome. But if I'm going to help, I might as well see it through. A while later, at the hotel, Luke had brought the father and daughter back to his room. The father said, "Thank you so much for your kindness." He then handed him a bottle of solution and said, "Drink this." The father was confused. "This is..." Luke instructed, "Don't think, just drink it and get some sleep." You should be fine by tomorrow. He stroked his daughter's head and said, Xiao Qiu, you go to your room and sleep first. Let me have a few words with this big brother. The little girl obediently replied, Okay. Luke pushed an item on the table and said, This is a token from the female assassin just now. What kind of status does that ring of seals have? The ring is made of solid gold. And what she said about the Dark Star? The object pushed forward was a ring with a unique symbol. The man explained, The Ring of Seals and the Dark Star are both international secret organizations. Their purpose is unknown, but their presence has been noted in countries all over the world. The Ring of Seals, the Dark Star? I heard the Ring of Seals is at the Grandmaster level, and above them are the even stronger King Seals, and even God Seals. As you know, she came for the gold mine this time. Luke asked again, The Ring of Seals is Grandmaster level. So aren't the ones above them great grandmasters and martial saints? The father replied helplessly, I don't know about these things. After hearing this, Luke thought to himself, I'll have to check the system later. In this prosperous era of martial arts, the dark forces are naturally not weak. After the competition, martial arts nurtures people's ambitions, and there are always some who harbor ambitions against the righteous forces in the world. He then asked the father, So, what are your plans now? He replied, I'll take it one step at a time. The kindness you've shown by saving my daughter and me is already immense. I don't dare to trouble you anymore. Suddenly, the corner of his mouth twitched up. Luke came up with an idea and said, I have a solution that can end this matter.
This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe and like the video.